A while ago, a certain commenter in one of my videos asked me if I would make a video on Vinushka. This commenter was named Ivory Cest, and I told him that I wouldn't do it because it wouldn't be a long enough video. But I'm happy to say I lied, and I am making one, as evident as you are watching it. Of all the new gods added in Fear and Hunger 2, only one of them was an old god. Although it is possible that some of the unconfirmed ones are also old gods, but Vinushka is the only confirmed new old god added in the lore in Fear and Hunger 2. Vinushka was born of their two old god parents, their mother being Sylvian, the goddess of creation and love, and their father being Gro-Goroth, the god of destruction and human sacrifices. So it would only be fitting that the child of both creation and destruction be the place where both creation and destruction coexist in tandem: nature. Vinushka is the god or goddess of nature. We don't know the gender of Vinushka, or even if they have one, so I'm just going to say they as their pronoun, I guess. Nature, like her mother of creation and her father of destruction, can be both peaceful, like a beautiful beach with a nice breeze, or destructive, like a volcano erupting. And because nature can be anything, Vinushka has many forms. Although there are a couple depictions of Vinushka, you'll never see Vinushka themselves in-game. As the edited version of Vinushka's Skin Bible says, similarities between nature and mankind are fitting, as both grew up suckling the many bosoms of Sylvian after all. Both were born of the same loins. Vinushka and the representation of humanity, Alll-Merr the Ascended One, are considered equal. Neither of the two stands taller. What is Vinushka is for men to reap, just as nature reaps our old and weary. So in a way, Vinushka is almost like a weird kin of humanity as a whole, as both humanity and Vinushka are the sons and daughters of Sylvian. We are the same. Obviously, Vinushka is a little bit stronger than the average human, being an old god and all, but in a weird way, we are the closest to the old god of Vinushka. Closer than any other old god, probably. It also makes a lot of sense, as humans can both be scions for creation and destruction. I'm not going to get into philosophy this time, but obviously humans can both be very creative to the world as well as destructive. We are a lot like Vinushka in that way. Now, if the Skin Bible that you'd normally find was it, then that would be the end of the story. I'd tell you what the skills and what the symbol does and what it looks like, but there is a conspiracy in-universe. The Church of Alll-Merr and Father Hugo in particular have edited the Skin Bible about Vinushka. If you don't know, the Skin Bibles in Fear and Hunger 2 are written by Enki and Karian, the Dark Priest playable character in Fear and Hunger 1. If you read the unedited version found in Father Donovan's house, you'll get some interesting lore that is hidden away from the world. However, the reason it is hidden, I'm not quite sure. I'm sure someone in the comments can tell me some theories because I'm super interested why this would be hidden from everybody. The first thing you may notice about the unedited version is that Vinushka looks different in it. They have a pine cone-like face instead of the semi-humanoid one. Once again, why is it different? I'm not sure. If you read it, it will tell you that Gro-Goroth impregnated Sylvian an eon ago, and eventually, Sylvian, quote, pushed a pine cone out of her abyss. However, the child was not named Vinushka, like you might think, but Ninush. However, it will say that ancient tribes of the ancient world used to live in harmony with Ninush, respecting nature's creation and its destruction, understanding the power that nature held. However, people evolved, and then they got greedy. They ravaged and pillaged nature so they could build their cities on top of it. So in response, Ninush also got greedy, to try to keep the balance. A long war raged to determine who was the master and who was the slave. This eventually caused the death of Ninush. So in a way, nature has died. The cycles of creation and destruction are now dead. Mankind then dubbed the dead god Vinushka, which means grief, as the death of nature is humanity's great grief. Enki then theorizes that eventually this death will be disastrous for the world. Enki theorizes that this guilt will eat away at the world and kill all of humankind. However, a few bits of life are still left of the god in totems that humans made to honor the god. One of those totems is named Iki Turso. who patiently will wait for his god to be reborn. He doesn't like humanity for obvious reasons. However, these totems don't know that their most precious god was killed by humanity. And as the unedited version of the Skin Bible says, as soon as these totems learn how their god was destroyed and that humans caused it, the humans will understand the grief that these totems are capable of. Which is a foreboding message. Maybe once these totems understand the death of their god, they will attack humanity in some way. Or perhaps they will have a war that they will wage with us. Strangely, in the A ending of Fear and Hunger 2 Termina, you will meet the machine god, Logic. When her true form is revealed, she will have a small cube on her chest that resembles the Cube of the Depths from the first Fear and Hunger game. Curiously, however, the symbol for Vinushka is plastered all over it. However, the symbol is defaced. This could mean many things, but my theory is that perhaps the death of Vinushka somehow has something to do with Logic's birth. Or perhaps it's just a design choice that the age of nature is over in the world, and now is the age of technology. Vinushka's symbol itself looks like kind of like a half of an eyeball with a storm coming out of it. Whereas the game says it's a maelstrom, which would make sense. Maelstroms are a pretty fierce part of nature. But I believe that the symbol also carries some of this god's parents in it. Half of the eye, which, if you don't know, Sylvian's symbol is the eye, or a vagina. And Gro-Goroth's destruction, which only half of the symbol is a maelstrom. So I believe it is kind of a mix of the creation and destruction of these two gods, which is what Vinushka is. We don't know much about the followers of Vinushka, however. It's possible most of them have died out, and that would make sense as we learned that only the ancient tribes lived in harmony with Vinushka. And with the industrial era now upon us, it would make sense that nature doesn't have as many followers. As a certain psychopath would say, the Industrial Revolution and its consequences have been disastrous for humanity, and by extent, nature. Perhaps the only ones who follow Vinushka are the owl cultists in the forest. They are animal-like, and they protect Iki Turso, a known totem of Vinushka. Spells in Vinushka's skill tree can give you nature-like abilities, like the god themselves. These abilities can be helpful with healing magic, like when the sun is out, you'll regain health every few seconds, or destructive with combustion and fire magic. One spell, Spontaneous Combustion, allows you to become flame itself, which just instantly kills you. Which, strangely, is only one of 3 skills in the game that just instantly kill you when used. When you use Vinushka's symbol, it will instantly grow a tree in the summoning circle that you used it, which can give you shortcuts, good weapons, and a pinecone pig, which is base. Vinushka is based on the Hindu god Vishnu, which strangely enough is also part of a triad of gods. How Vinushka is the god of nature and fear and hunger, with their father, the god of destruction, and their mother, the god of creation, Vishnu, in the Hindu religion, is the deity of preservation. The other 2 of the triad in Hindu are Brahma, the creator, and Shiva, the destroyer, which somewhat mirror Sylvian and Gro-Goroth. Sylvian equating to Brahma, and Gro-Goroth equating to Shiva, making Vishnu the equivalent to Vinushka. Well, in times of evil and horrible chaos, Vishnu is said to descend to the earth and restore order to the world. So perhaps if the world is threatened enough by some chaos in the Fear and Hunger universe, perhaps Vinushka will once again be reborn to restore order to the world. So will Vinushka rise again? I don't know, but Mira does, and he's not going to tell us. Thank you for watching. I love all of you so much, and I'll see you guys next time.